Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham Yahweh Shai, Bahasham Rakha Kodash. Double honors to the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone, and peace and blessings to the elect. And, in this lesson, I was watching a couple of different videos, that were being done, by various brothers and elders. And, the vibration or the sentiment that I've been in, along with pretty much other brothers, is just it's time to get excited, man, because we're closer now to the more miraculous parts of prophecy than we've ever been. Okay, the prophecies of old that have been written, that were foreseen in Hebrews the 11th chapter, it mentions that you had when it goes into the faith, and it mentions the different men of old and how they had to experience or exhibit faith in their times. It mentions that these all, seeing the promises afar off, right? They believed. But we now are much closer to seeing these promises, to experiencing and living through the fulfillment of these promises the Lord had promised us, starting going all the way back to our forefathers. We're closest now to that happening than ever. Okay, to the point where it's literally like, imagine being in the time of Abraham and seeing this, or even at the time of Moses, and seeing this and knowing like this is going to be such a long ways away, right? Like when you read in the writings of the prophets, you had various prophets that even as they would pronounce judgment against Israel by the mouth or the word of the Lord, they would also pronounce the mercies the Lord would show, right? And the Lord would stretch out his hand and gather Israel, right? Gather a remnant from all the different areas they've been scattered. And the Lord will none shall make thee afraid anymore. Even though they were mentioning that it would say like in that day. And that was still that was thousands of years ago. Like when Yahushua came on the earth, in our time now, that's over 2,000 years ago. And prior to Yahushua coming onto the earth, you still had, hundreds of centuries before that, the prophets were speaking of these things. So that was a long time away from from these promises or events being fulfilled at the time when the prophets were prophesying or speaking about it. And now we're here at the point where it's right before our eyes, right? This is something that has been, it's like where fantasy meets reality, and we're about to experience that. In fact, we're seeing it now, to where now the tarrying between prophecies or these signs is not long, right? While you're yet speaking, like the Job effect, right? While his servants were yet speaking to him, except for him, it was about calamities. Another one would come with more news. This time, while you're yet speaking about some more things are happening. Then you gotta pause midway to see and okay, well, this just happened and this just happened. It's like breaking news after breaking news after breaking news, and you have things that are happening on the carnal front, meaning in terms of the secular events in history, right? With the whole war with Iran, the advancements of AI technology, the digital era, the push to the establishment of the New World Order, right? The image of the beast, all of these things, we're seeing that happening in real time. But at the same time, we're also seeing the Lord is working a great work in the spirit, and it's about to manifest in the physical, in the flesh, very soon. Okay, and at that point, like we did on the Sabbath sanctuary, we mentioned yesterday about the new age being in motion. Because remember that all the things that transpire here on the earth, they first begin in the spirit, right? In the spirit world, that's where it starts. The Lord sets things up. It's like the gears start shifting, they start moving, they get locked in, and then it starts to manifest and transpire here in the physical realm or the physical dimension that we're in. But the spirit it triumphs the flesh. So we know the things that the Lord is getting ready to show forth, which he has already said he's going to do, but these are going to be things that are going to shock the world. right? There's a scripture that says, actually a couple of accounts where the Lord would use the phrase, he is about to do something that is basically so drastic that whosoever hears it, their ears are going to tingle. Can you imagine that? The miraculous things the Lord is about to have take place on the earth, to where you're seeing it, but yet you're not. It's hard to believe what you're actually seeing, and that's going to be these people having to try and process the fact that things that you for so long thought were not possible, were not real. It was a joke, right? You hear people talk about spiritual power, and it sounds it sounds like they're joking around. And then you see that they're serious about it, and then you start to wonder, yo, is this person actually crazy, or like, do they actually believe this? Like, what? And then you get to the point where now you see it with your own eyes, and people are going to be quick to try and say, no, that's AI, and so on, until they actually see it happen before their very eyes. Try calling that AI. But remember, like, this is what they were doing. The disciples were they had spiritual power in real time. They were performing miracles in real time. Elisha, right? Yahushai, they were performing, I mean, great miracles. Like, go and read in the book of Kings about Elisha and the things he was doing. They weren't some small feats. But through the spirit and power of Yahweh Ba'asham Yahushai, it was done. And people recognize, yeah, these are men of God. By this, right? The situation with Elijah and the widow woman. And when they did these things, it was in full faith and confidence. They weren't, stressed or worried and contemplating, oh my gosh, like, is this, like, can this actually work? Is this actually possible? Nah. They said it in full faith and confidence, knowing that, yes, this is real, because the God that we serve, he is a power. Like, the Most High is power. He is the most powerful power there is in all of existence. And so when the most powerful says that he's going to give us power, there's a reason why Apostle Hart said that, in his lesson about the power is going to be overwhelming. It's the Spirit that had him say that. Because this is the power from the highest. Remember, going back to the time of Egypt, you had the Lord had Moses and Aaron performing those miracles to plague Egypt, and you had the Pharaoh's magi's, which were also replicating it. So they also had power, but it was on the left-hand side. And the Lord kept magnifying his power more and more and more on the right-hand side, to where it actually overwhelmed Egypt. And it was heard of cities and towns away, to where before we even got into the land, people already knew about the reputation, about the God that we serve. Okay? So how much more for now in this time? This means that the things the Lord is going to do now are going to overshadow the things that were done in ancient Egypt. All right? A time like never before. Well, I just recall times that have been before, where we've seen we read about these miraculous acts that were jaw-dropping. I mean, Yahushua raising people from the dead. The disciples raising people from the dead. Can you imagine that? Power that makes you calm even hearing when somebody's dead. The Apostle Paul, right? It said he was long preaching when he was speaking to the believers. I forget exactly which city it was. And then one of them fell asleep, fell down from the window, died. He kept preaching. When he was done, he went in there and woke him up. He wasn't panicking and bugging out and losing his mind. When he got bit by the serpent, right, when he was on the island with the quote-unquote barbarians, which they're Israelites, and they were expecting him to die, he wasn't losing his mind. Because he knew. He didn't have, you don't have doubt in that time, right? You just know. He's like, yo, like, what is there to doubt? It's like you sitting down in a chair somewhere, and somebody asks you to get them water from the fridge, and now you're like afraid and wondering, damn, can I really make it to the fridge? You're like, if I attempt to get up out this chair, like, can I actually do it? You don't even think about it. That's how much that's how much that you can that you don't even think about it. You just get up and go. So it's the same thing. Like when the Lord, does what he's about to do, Psalms 119 and 126, it is time for thee to work, O Lord, for they have made void thy law. Right? I will work in your days that you will not believe, though it be told you. So when these workings start happening upon the earth, yeah, it's gonna be miraculous. It's gonna be majestic. It's gonna be unheard of. And the whole world is gonna be shocked. And you know what? That's gonna magnify and glorify Yahweh Ba'asham Yahweh Shai above all else. That's the times that we're living in. Salaki, let me get this gaze. Hey, how's it going, boys?
Brother, how are you?
I'm good. And I have give me 30 regular.
Zip code, brother?
10461. So yeah, because that's the time that we're in. Now since I'm parked up, let me see if I can find a preset. Which one do I want? So many you can go to. I'm not even sure which one I want to go to over here.
Brother?
Yeah.
Thanks.
There you go. Let's see. Damn, like I said, there's so many go to. You know what? Let's go to Isaiah 40. Yeah, see, guys like that, they go around making noise like that. They need to be dealt with. Can't be out here doing that. This is Isaiah 40 and 29, right? It says here, he giveth power to the faint, and to them that have no might he increaseth strength. Even the youth shall faint and be weary, and the young men shall utterly fall. But they that wait upon the Lord Yahweh shall renew their strength. So we're not looking to AI. We're not looking to, Esau's means of technology and no Captain America type experiments. No, we trust in the Spirit. Okay, the authentic power. They shall mount up with wings as eagles. That's flying. They shall run and not be weary, and they shall walk and not faint. This is the power and then some, right? That the Lord is going to bring upon the face of the earth. And when has anybody ever seen that? Men in real life, in real time, actually, flying, teleporting, disappearing, reappearing, running with super speed. These are things that you see in movies. These are things you see in anime. And now you're looking at it with your own very eyes. You'll see. And at that point, then what? What are people going to say then? And it's all going to be to the glory of Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai. And guess what? That's going to be the beginning of when the pseudo reality breaks, like glass that's shattering. It starts cracking and it starts to break, and now people can't even tell what's real and what's not. And at that point, man, that's going to be that beginning of then shall that man stand in great boldness before the face of such as have afflicted him. Because then it's all going to start to make sense. Oh, all the things they were saying, everything they were talking about, these men weren't crazy after all. Yeah, no, we're not. You just live in a world that is faithless. But in any case, I just wanted to speak on that. That's the times that we in. It's time to get excited because the Lord is doing his thing. So we got to be ready, at the Lord's command to do his will, to serve him and to glorify him. Thank you, boss. So hey, just look forward to great things, because the Lord is about to work a great work in our day. So Lord willing, that was edifying and exhorting to the elect. In closing, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'asham Yahweh Shai, Ba'asham Rachak Wadash. And until next time, Shalom.